Oh, hello there. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Don't mind the smell. It's Rohan here. How's it going? Today I have a bunch of awesome build projects for you. Let's not waste any time. Let's just get straight into it. It is time to finally, and I mean finally, get building this watermill here. I've got a design all set up. I've got the camera account ready, and I think it's time to do this in the form of a third-person time lapse. Let's do it. The exterior of the build is more or less done. I'm not completely happy with some things. I might do a little bit of edging on the roof here. I'm not totally satisfied with the transitions, but I think the general shape is nice. I like that tower on top. I really like the way that the edging on the tower worked out, but we have all of the interior to do yet, and you may have noticed one problem. There is no longer a proper path that leads over to our dolphin gazebo. So I'm going to put like a retaining wall along here, and then a path going around it. And then what I'm thinking, because I've got this little nifty little crane here hoisting up the logs, we got to bring the logs in somehow, and obviously there isn't a giant forest on our island. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is just cut that open right there and make just enough room for like a barge with some logs coming in and have it parked here. And then have a little unloading thing that they're doing. Maybe even use some of the armor stands to make a scene of people. I think it'll be really cool. But I'm going to get back to doing some of the little bits of detailing on this build that I didn't finish in the test world. I have to be honest, I put together this design a little bit quickly, a little bit hastily, and so some of the things don't mesh together quite as nicely as I'd like. One of the big things is this roof here. This right here wasn't brilliant. This was my temporary fix. I might lower this roof inside here, or this ceiling down half a block, and that should fix basically all of that problem. And then I like what I did. I added this after the fact to the roof of this, and I adjusted the roof design a little bit. I think it looks a lot better. I might make some modifications to this roof, although I do like the way the dormers look, the 4 dormers on each side. But that one, the transitions look a lot smoother, and it grabs your eye a lot better. So I'm going to make some changes, do some little stuff. We'll do that. I'm also going to do some other landscaping around here, maybe do another time lapse of that, because that's slow going doing that, and it's a little boring to just watch me place. Ooh, I'm going to make a path block here. Ooh, I'm going to make a coarse dirt block here. Ooh, I think another path block here. We'd be here all day, and that's a little bit boring. So I might do another time lapse of that. I might just do it and then show what it looks like after the fact. But get back to this. We'll do some of that. We'll do some of this. Well, it's the next day now, and we finished doing some more of the detailing on this, adding some trim. You can see I added that dark oak on the dormer there. Some more, well, a ton of cobblestone walls everywhere. I redid the tower roof on the other side. We'll see that in a second. But the big change is we did a lot of this greenery and decorating of the landscape here. We made this path, and one thing that it felt like it was missing, it felt like the path was very much connected to the grass. We added all these shrubs on the side, or the bushes, and it feels much more like a completed path now with some grass here and there. We added in some of this green concrete powder. It makes a really nice grass texture, just a mix up of this and the grass. Yeah, we got all this done, and now something seems to be sticking out like a sore thumb. Let's look around here and see which of these builds stands out. Oh, yep, it's that one. That our very first, our starter house, it lacks a little bit of the detail that some of the other builds appear to have. And so I think we need to do a little bit of a transformation on it. I don't want to get rid of it. It's our very first build. It's where we started on this island. So I want to keep it. And I especially love the interior of this build. I do not want to get rid of that, but I think the outside really needs a substantial makeover. If we look on the inside here, especially in here, the bar. One thing I would love to add is some armor stands with some people having drinks and whatnot throughout here. But the bar there and then the living quarters upstairs, I think they're nice. They're really nice. And I don't want to get rid of any of that. And so I've gone into a test world actually already. And I've done the whole makeover. Planned out everything I want to do with this, and I'm going to have to, it's a ton of work. It's a big makeover. All exterior, and it's going to add a lot of depth to the walls, some more detail, more options for what we can do outside. But then it'll match the rest of what we're going on here in terms of the quality of the detail and all of the builds. The one thing these are missing that this building does have is the interior is finished. I've had a hard time coming up with how I'm going to do the interior in those, so that's going to have to wait a little bit longer. But let's go back into the basement. Let's collect everything that we're going to need, and it's a lot. Got all of the dark oak stuff, some white terracotta, gray concrete. But one of the reasons I need a ton of spruce wood, I'm completely out of. So we're going to have to make a trip over to it is the concrete and the log farm, just over here, and I'm gonna have to sit there AFK for a little while and get myself some logs. This is how we get our logs. I believe I have everything I need to get started on this project. Let's get going, and I'll check back in when I have something to show. So we've made a whole bunch of progress so far. We've got the lower part of the building all done. We're going to do some little add-ons and adding some leaves and this and that. Obviously, I mean, this wall, when you look at it at this angle, it's a little bit plain. I got plans for putting a little spot for where logs go and a couple other little things, but the big issue when you look at it right now is it just kind of looks like a weird box, and that's largely because we don't have the roof. So the roof is next. We're going to have that outdoor exit that we used to have here. It came out, followed the wall down. It's actually going to come straight out now and then down this way and create like this, almost like a little closed-in area in there. We're going to be putting a chimney here. That's why it looks very incomplete. And then let's go to the other side. You can get an idea of sort of the overall wall design I went with. One of the things I did, as you can see in each of these areas that don't have a window, to avoid having to put any lanterns there, I had to put all unspawnable blocks. So we used these fence gates and walls right here. I really like the detail of it, and the added benefit is that this little area doesn't have to be lit up because it's all spawn proof. And then we're going to hang some lanterns in the windows to make sure that the windows aren't spawnable. But right now it doesn't look the greatest. I think the wall design looks a lot better. I quite enjoyed this sort of plastery look coming down into the foundation here, and it looks nice up there. In some places I wanted it to be mostly rock, like on this side. On this far wall over here, that foundation, I think it looks the nicest. I mean, we're going to be using some bushes to help it out over here. But you can see how it comes down, creeps down into the lower half of the building. I think it's looking really nice. The roof is the next big step, and it's a huge chunk of it. Well, we got a roof on top of her, and I think that is starting to look really good. The boxiness of it is starting to go away. I mean, if you look at this side in particular, it's still pretty boxy, but we're going to get some vegetation on there, some vines, some stuff on the roof there with the leaves, and it's going to really blend it with the associated landscape. This is sort of the process that I go through. We build the general shape of it, we get some of the details into it, we get the roof on top of it, and then we go around adding all of the finishing touches. As you can see, I haven't put the chimney in yet. That'll be included in the finishing touches, but I've come up with a couple of extra things that I'd like to add into this that I hadn't done in the original test world design. I'm going to put a little cellar entrance here. I felt like this section of... how'd that happen? This section of wall here was a little bit boring, a little bit plain, and that I could use something here. I'm not totally sure what to do to spice up this wall here. Maybe we'll add some like extra support sticking off of here. But we'll come up with something. I've got plans for the rest of the exterior, what we're going to put and where it's going to go. But I'm very happy with how this has turned out. We are all done the build. We are completely finished the transformation. My habit is usually to run around and add things after the fact, so I might add a leaf or two there. But that is how it's looking, and I think that it is absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. All of the leaves flowing around it. We've got the stair sit on here, our chimney with the anvils up at the top there to give that sort of old-timey venting. I don't know what that is. I did end up adding something here, right here. We'll see that on the inside. You can kind of see some of the plants in there, but it's a little herb garden that sticks out on the south wall for some fresh herbs in the kitchen. We've got leaves all over the place growing like vines up the side of the building. We've got vines over here, some external plants hanging. We added a path that goes around the side of the building here. I think that's just absolutely fantastic. Some rose bushes and something that you guys could add to your builds that I like doing quite a bit, and I saw recently and thought, wow, that's brilliant. Because these little flowers here, they're kind of empty in the block that they occupy. They look kind of nice, but they're not very full. These rose bushes, on the other hand, are very full, but they're kind of tall and they obstruct your view in a lot of ways. So what you can do is something like this, where you just dig down a block and then surround it with foliage so it's not quite as obvious, and you get this much fuller but not visually obstructing flower. I think it is a great way to use those rose bushes, and I've done it with a few of the other flowers, but the rose bushes in particular look the nicest. Let's head inside the building now, or actually there's one more exterior feature. One more over here that I've added is a little log chopping. And I mean, I had the logs against the building before, but I had this little roof extension to break up this wall a little bit, and added some logs sitting here with the rails and ladders as strapping holding it down. What I'm hoping to get is a wandering trader that trades some of the mini head logs, and I'm going to create a little like log chopping spot right here. I think that'll look really cool. Got some vines hanging off the building as well to kind of mix up the greenery. Let's head inside. So in this area, I haven't added anything yet. I'm thinking we're going to do some sort of like little stable in this one of the corners for a horse or two. But we added these support beams and the dark oak roof to or ceiling to match the exterior roof that's made out of dark oak up there. And then if we head inside the bar, look at that. Same arch style. Added this little cubby hole or little booth on the side here with a bunch of paintings. I think that looks awesome. And our old entrance to the basement where our modern bunker's hidden is gone. I'm going to showcase that a little bit later, but we've got some barrels back there that look like kegs where they're serving the brew. Upstairs, we've rearranged this, and similar spruce arch design, but I love this ceiling. Oh, does that not look amazing? The dark oak doors, they create this really cool textured paneling, and we've got that going all the way through here. Use them a little bit on the chairs as well. These curtains, I think from the outside, they add this really nice color detail. And here we're about to get into my favorite part of the whole build, the kitchen. You ready? Let's go take a look. Bam! Isn't it beautiful? Added some brick in for the ceiling to create just to break up the texture, and it makes it feel a lot more, I want to say, warm or alive in here. We've got the herb garden that we saw from outside. We've got a little meat curing cabinet here with the raw meats on top of the extinguished campfires. I think that looks fantastic. Some cooking stuff or whatever, maybe some pastries. A towel here in front of our sink. That's not intended to be a tap. This is not a modern house. We don't have plumbing. It's intended to be like a little thing where you could hang your cloth or whatever while you're washing your dishes. Some cups here. And I've taken advantage of the armor statue feature. I think that looks really neat. In our little entrance, we've got some boots, the little kids' boots on the shelf, and then a hanging jacket. And I think that this build just came together so nice. This kitchen is my favorite. But I think this transformation of our starter house is absolutely wonderful. We got some chicken on the table. It's a little small to be feeding 6 people, but I didn't have an option for bumping up the size of that. Here's our fireplace on the inside. Yeah, I think that this has just turned out wonderful. I think that this build is beautiful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, that is all we have time for this week. I know this episode was very build heavy, and I hope you enjoyed it. Next time, maybe we'll get into a few more technical things. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and maybe even subscribe. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride. See you later!